Hello there, my friends. Welcome to the Glow Up Method. This is the place where we talk all things personal life transformation. We are talking about our personal growth journeys. We are talking about self-help, self-empowerment, self-improvement, self-worth, self-love, self-care. Hi, my name is Natasha. I am so honored, so proud, so grateful to have this opportunity to sit here with you and chit chat about my life, my wisdom, the wisdom that has been bestowed upon me through so many different sources, mediums, people, books, shows, music, art, everything you can think of. I am so open to receiving it, and not only just receiving it for myself, I am so delighted that I have found my voice and the courage to use it to inspire, to motivate someone else on their journey. I feel like every experience that I have ever had, every single second, not one was wasted, not one was by mistake, but they happened on purpose for a reason that has all led me to sitting here in this seat, pushing the record on my iPhone 12, putting up a camera ring light, and having this conversation with you. I am so honored. I talked to you a couple days ago about my girlfriend and how, she has chosen at this time to, we're no longer be friends or, whatever, to move on, to move forward, whatever that is. And I totally honor and respect her decisions, her choices, where she's at in her life. No hard feelings. I adore the communication. She has given me this gift, right? So for so many years, my kids had so many ailments. They can't even get a common cold without it. Literally, my son needed a chest ray extra yesterday, has some thickening in his lungs, has a, extreme weird ideology, whatever it's called, etiology. I don't even know. He has some asthma things, some viral things. It's always to an extreme. And so, that brings on its own challenges. But because my kids have had brain surgery, heart surgery, multiple knee surgeries, hernia surgeries, ear surgeries, gosh, I know there's other ones that I am for sake of, I don't know, forgetting, surgeries to remove lesions on their faces. I can go on. And then that's not even including all the broken bones, pulled ligaments, just crazy stuff. Not including the things that are invisible, like the mental health battles or, the extreme life-threatening food allergies or, the eye congenital deformities. I don't know what I can even call it. That's another obstacle. So, for so long, because, there wasn't one, there wasn't two, there wasn't three, but all four of my kids struggled with so many physical, visible disabilities, as they would be called, or ailments, but they also struggled with internal battles that you can't always see. They're not always obvious, right? Like a food allergy, it's not obvious unless you eat the food and now you are swollen like a pufferfish, or you're struggling to breathe, or you're rashing or hiving, so throwing up. I mean, there's some other, things that become obvious, but in the moment, when it happens, it's not always obvious what's happening internally, as goes with mental health, right? We can look a certain way and really be depressed. We can look a certain way and be really anxious. A lot of them are invisible disabilities. And so many times I thought I got it wrong. Like, my DNA created them. I was their home. I spent, 7.5 months with one kid, but my other ones much longer than that, the proper 40 weeks or a little less, in that area, creating this life, right? But did I really create them, right? I wasn't building them with my hands. I kind of was this house. And, I felt like I didn't do a good job. I felt like an absolute failure, because what do we all want? We say, when somebody says, do you want a boy? Do you want a girl? Like, I just want a healthy baby. Like, I want 10 fingers and 10 toes. Like, this is my basics. Like, anything beyond that is, a cherry on top. We just want a healthy, happy baby, right? And my first go at it, I didn't get that. And I mean, the happy part, yes. The healthy part, not so much. And it really did make me feel like a failure from the onset of motherhood. I had one job. And that continued as my kids were born and had difficulties, a lot of their physical things, right? I participated in giving them my DNA, which I, again, had zero control over, right? I gave them the best environment I could, but even that, I wasn't able to keep them in the womb long enough. My son came early. My second child, they thought, oh, that was a fluke that the first one is, so we're not going to do anything besides check on you every week. And then all of a sudden I get to a point where they're like, oh yeah, by the way, you're now on bed rest, because, there was no other options back then for me to have something. Third and fourth child, we had to stitch me up and say, yeah, no, we're going to shut her down. And we're going to, so even that, I felt like such a failure, because most moms don't even know what a cerclage is. They just, have a pregnancy. And again, I was a really bad pregnant person. It was the only time until, my recent years when I had lost weight that I was able to like consistently lose weight. It was because I was so sick all the time. So I just felt like I was just this kind of failure of a mom from jump. And again, I had this continual feeling like, what did I do wrong? Like, I messed these kids up. Like, I felt so guilty and responsible for all of their problems, especially the physical ones, since I was the master in creating them. But really, I didn't create them. I just kind of housed them for a while. Some of them were ready to fly out of the nest pretty early, like my oldest, and others were slow and steady, like my daughter, and I had to do stuff to kick her out. Like, girl, first you were like in a hurry to get out, and now you don't want to leave, which honestly just dawned on me is much like her life. Like, she was in this hurry to move out, and when it came to move out, she was like, no, I don't want to go. I don't want to go out to that real world. I'm going to stay here where it's safe and cozy and comfortable. And I had to go, I didn't have to. I chose, because I didn't want her to be induced on Friday the 13th. I chose to drink a bottle of castor oil, and wow, let's just say that was a very interesting experience. I would never recommend to anyone ever. I don't know what I was thinking. Young, dumb, and wanting to control things that simply were out of my control. But nonetheless, I did it, and her birthday was on Thursday the 12th, as a result of my efforts. But I've been thinking a lot about everything. I've been thinking a lot about, obviously, I've been speaking on here about the joys and delight, the like pleasant surprise I'm having dating my husband. And or he calls me his girlfriend, so dating my boyfriend, whatever it is. Like, honestly, let's just cut the chase, dating my husband. And not dating him in a way that we had dated before. Like, we had these forced date nights, and we were using them to have extended business and family meetings in a way. It was a lot about their business, a lot about the kids. Scraggled in here was this or this, and it was like he was sent in his representative of himself, and I was trying to learn how to do this like vulnerable thing, and we just weren't quite on the same page. We still had a lot of responsibilities. I had a ton of responsibilities. I hadn't quite communicated that this was all too much for me to do. Everything that had been the status quo, the default setting, the super mom, she was losing it. And I didn't want anybody to know that. So my representative did a good job, and nobody knew how much struggle I was in. And as a result of me now, being honest and saying this is too much, the people around me started to panic. Like, this girl is the captain of the ship. She cannot go down. This ship is going to go down. And we like it when she does everything, because we get to still do our life. We don't want any change. We're not asking for change. We are good. But I wasn't good. And I had gotten to the extreme where it was like I was really not good, because I didn't have anything for me. I didn't do self-care. There was no self-worth. There was no self-love. It was selflessness. And any form of taking care of oneself seemed very selfish to me. And I was wanting to so be seen as this person who was not selfish. I felt very generous, and I wanted that person to be out there in this world. And so I've started to think a lot. I started to think about how my friend had told me this thing when, again, I was feeling like I was the failure. I was the common denominator here. I was the mom. My kids are messed up. It is my fault. I mean, maybe 1, we can say no. Maybe 2, we can say no. 3, 4, come on, girl. It's your fault. You failed your children. And so I carried that. I really firmly, it was like a core belief. I believed all my kids' problems were as a result of me. Chris wasn't even into play. Like on an occasion, I would be like, you made me lift this desk, and our oldest son. But really at the end of the day, that was like, I wanted him to suffer with me. Like, and be like, I wanted him to feel he was partially responsible, which he felt no responsibility for. And I was like, I don't want to carry the burden of feeling totally responsible for all my kids' ailments. You are the other parent. You should feel responsible too. And he's like, I don't feel responsible for it. Like, this is just the way they are. And I didn't understand that. And I didn't like that answer. And I was holding on to this belief so firmly that he didn't want to share in it. Then it was all my responsibility. It was all my fault. So I had my girlfriend, and my son had a brain tumor. I've mentioned this recently. I was out at the curb. There were garbage cans. And, I was like, when she asked how I was doing, I was like, I'm not doing well. Like, it's all my fault. Like, it's my fault he has a tumor. I messed them up. I messed them up. These 4 beings that I love more than anything, that I would literally give my life for. Somebody comes in here with a gun, I am standing between them, doing everything I can to kung fu karate chop them as I'm telling my kids, run the hell out of here. Like, I will do anything. When my oldest son had heart defects, I looked at the doctor seriously and said, can I give him my heart? And they're like, no, you need a heart of your own, lady. No, we can't. We're not doing that. But mine works perfectly good. It's only 23 years young. Can I just give it to him? I don't need to live anymore. I will live vicariously through him. And they're like, no, it's still not happening, woman. Same thing goes for my son. My youngest son, he's born. He has all these eye conditions. And here I am, still at the ripe old age of 48. And I don't have any kind of eye corrections. Although maybe I could use some readers on occasion when I'm tired. It gets a little on the blurry side, but I'm going to say it's because I'm tired. But no, I mean, I can see freely. My daughter now, my other son, 3 of my kids, 1 extreme, 2 others extreme too, but not as, like, my daughter needs to put on contacts in the morning to even see. Whereas I just wake up and I see. Isn't that like it's such a gift. But I would give my eyes to them. And see blurry myself so that they could see clearly. When my son had the brain tumor, I was like, just take mine. It's already got a lot of information in there. He can take this shortcut version. Again, wasn't happening. The neurosurgeon's like, yeah, no, that's not the way it works, hon. Allergies, everything that my kids have experienced, I went wholeheartedly, without question, was like, take this. You can have me. I will be fine. Or I won't be fine, but I'll be fine not being fine. I just don't want you to be not fine. And so when she gave me this gift, this wisdom to tell me, no, it's not your fault. On the contrary, you were perfectly chosen because whatever you want to call it, God, source, universe, goddess, whatever it is out there you believe in, chose you because you were the exact person who was able to receive them, who was able to support them. that was able to advocate for them, that was able to translate their needs into the world in order to not only survive, but to thrive. And that shifted my perspective. In that moment, it took me from being this at fault, in a sort, victim to this powerful, unique, and in a way, just privileged being to be there. And it felt like I was of service to them instead of creating all this disservice and challenges I had. It shifted my perspective. It made me feel empowered. It made me feel strong. It made me feel confident and capable that of every being that was ever born, that it was only me who was able to perfectly, imperfectly service my kids and help translate what it is they needed into the world. Whether that be I had the skills to negotiate with insurances or negotiate with scheduling people or get them from here to there, find the right doctors. I was the only person, the only spirit in this world that could do that. And that was an honor. Like I feel privileged by that. And so I've been thinking about that because I've been thinking about the confirmation of the end of this relationship and of course taking ownership for my parts, seeing where there's growth in that. And it's made me realize that so many things, that beyond that experience, beyond being a parent to those 4 kids, so many things in which I'm working on right now, I was also privileged to be bestowed this wisdom, these experiences. Every person I've interacted with, every experience I've had, every triumph, every tragedy has given me this gift of being right here and sitting here with you. It's this inspiration, right? It's this gift from beyond, like a spirit, like inspiration, right? It kind of has spirit in there, does it? I don't know. I'm not the best speller. But the spirit has been shared and bestowed on me. And I get that privilege to sit here and I get this privilege to share it with you in service to you. Like this is happening not for me. I mean, yes, I do secondarily receive some healing, some epiphanies where I'm sitting here like, oh, here's a connection. My daughter didn't want to leave the womb. She doesn't also want to leave the womb of home. She doesn't necessarily like it in there. She's got indigestion. She's burping. She's stuck in my pelvis, which happened to my daughter and is coming out sunny side up. So she's not enjoying the experience, but she's not quite ready to leave. And I'm over here like forcing the child to leave in the most unhealthy way. And it makes sense. So within my sharing the wisdom, I get this secondary like growth and epiphany. And I'm like, whoa, oh, or a few months ago, I shared about how, this person cut me off in the Tesla and, it's, and I'm blocked in and I'm trapped in and what it is, it's not the freaking Tesla. It's not the freaking driver. It's this other whole being that this, I'm feeling trapped. I'm feeling like not considered. I'm feeling, all these things that the Tesla just moved over. They like at the end of the day, they didn't really care. They were living their own vibe. Who knows what was going on in their mind? It wasn't a personal attack on me, but it really had felt like it. And so as a result of that epiphany, I, for the most part, sometimes I go back to the default settings because I'm a human. But for the most part, I have this more peaceful experience driving. Now I do have some post-it notes that help remind me that, choose peace over chaos and, patience is power and courtesy is contagious. So those are really helpful notes for me while I'm in my car. But the same thing goes. I feel like suddenly, the book I'm writing, that is a gift from beyond. It's not about me writing a book. It's similar to I'm given this opportunity. Like it's being born within me. Does this make sense? Like I feel like the book is coming to me. I am not the writer of the book. Like I am not the creator of my kids. I just am housing the information and helping get it out into this world. I am bringing something that doesn't have this tangible, right? Like your spirit, like my kid's spirit. It's out there. It's not tangible, but I kind of was this conduit, this place to help bring it to life, but it isn't mine. I didn't create it. It's not just about me. When you have a baby and you have a child and you have teenagers and adult children, there's more than the physical. And my son Dylan's healing and all my other kids, but I go to that one first because that one was really an impactful time on his life and impactful for me to start having the courage to practice what I believed, to question that I loved every gift Western medicine had provided me with. Had it not been for Western medicine, perhaps my children would not literally be here due to their medical conditions. But this holistic inclusion of not only what was able to be seen and felt and repaired, that there was something much larger, something much more simple in so many ways that went into this healing journey. It was not only the physical, and that was obvious, right? We are going to see this thing, we are going to remove it from your brain, and we are going to give you medications to help your body to calm down from the fact that we were in there playing with your brain, and we are not supposed to be touching brains. And then we're going to see if you can outgrow these toxic medicines we are putting in your body. And thankfully he did. And knock on wood, he has. And it's been many years now, and he has been seizure free. And this is a gift. Oh my gosh, such a gift. We live our life, most of us, unless you have epilepsy or some kind of other conditions that, bring on seizures. And you only see a seizure on TV, or maybe you see it in person once or twice or something. But there's many of us out there that have had the role of a caregiver, or many of us that have experienced this, but we expect to not. And for him to no longer have those, or the debilitating headaches in which he had, or all those things that he experienced, I thank you so much, Western medicine, for providing this technology and being born at a time of life where something like that is even possible. But that was just one part of it, right? I talk about how there was also the mental part where we have to make decisions. Like, are we going to proceed with a surgery? Are we going to write it out? Are we going to do medications? Like, are we going to, rely upon the spiritual part and say, let's just pray for the miracle and it's going to go away? So there's a lot of mental, which took a lot of research. There's a lot of education, speaking with other people, getting consults, reviewing, test results, observing what you can see with your eyes, right? There's an emotional aspect where you feel the pain of your loved one suffering. You feel it in every piece of fear and uncertainty that they experience. You as an adult and as their parent and as somebody you love, you feel it with them, right? Like there's this emotional part, and they're having their own emotional journey because they're scared, they're confused. He's looking at mom like, am I gonna be okay? Yes, you're gonna be okay. Everything's gonna be fine. God, you better. I am not, listen, today we're not gonna play and be like, hi guys, hey, it's Natasha. I've been so nice. Can you please, pretty please? No, today we're like, I told my son he was going to be okay. I don't have the mental capacity right now or the emotional capacity to, put this with a cherry on top. I'm just going to tell you, I told him I am not a liar, so you need to make sure he's okay. Period. Bottom line, we're not going to, that's it. Done. Very sassy pants in that moment. It was running on fumes here. There is the spiritual side where, again, you're having conversations with God. You are with my son. What we did is a lot of prayers. It helped him feel good every night. I had this spiritual water that, number one, a funny thing. Somebody had given me this spiritual water, this holy water, and we always had holy water. My grandma always had it, around the house and things like that. But I remember this bottle. I still have it now. My son, Bradley, who was my oldest, the preemie, when he was a baby, was given this this water from Lourdes, and it's a beautiful bottle, and he had it. And then I started using that, and I only reserved it for certain things. Like I would always put on my son's heart, but I pulled that sucker out. I, was like, okay, we're going to start putting it on here. And then somebody else had gifted us with Dylan, ironically, this larger bottle. It was a plastic bottle, again, very beautiful, and a card with it. And the funny thing is I looked and I was like, oh my gosh, this is the same connection. It's, I think at this point, maybe like 18 years apart, that in which I got the two things, maybe 16, 18, I think it was about 18 years because he was 12 and they're 6 years apart. So about 18 years apart. So I kept at this point the first Lourdes water, and now I got this new one, and this one was now his. So I'd use it. We'd put it on the brain and, put it on other parts of his body, and we'd read this prayer card. So there's this spiritual side that came into it, and you had to kind of rely on something deeper, where again, I say, we would go out in the sun, we would listen to nature, we would, do these prayers. There was this whole deeper level of there's more than meets the eye. And it was all in this hope to live this dream, right? This dream. What's the dream? The dream is freaking to be seizure free. The dream is to go at the least back to where you were before your very first surgery, your very first seizure, right? And just be this normal, 12-year-old kid. So again, I believe that there is more than just meets the eye. I believe that the spirit of all this wisdom has been bestowed on me. And I don't think it's by accident. And I don't think it's mine to keep. I think, again, I am this conduit in which it's with me right now, just like my children were. But it's meant to be shared with the world. It's not mine. It's not mine to hold on to in my mind. It's mine to share. It's mine to bring into form and then have its own effect on the world. And so I think that what I'm really thinking about is, what is your inspiration? What has been given to you for you to share with the world, just as I've been? I have been blessed to share 4 amazing humans with this world. I am so blessed to share my wisdom, for how many ever days I've now been sharing here on my YouTube, or hopefully at this point, podcast channels and the world. I have been blessed to be writing a book for so many years that has taken me through these journeys of not knowing myself, not having the courage to do anything, to just doing it, choosing day one over one day. And I'm really excited to bring that into a full form, where I've been gathering all the sources. I've been writing the information. I've been living the experiences as they've come. And now this book is ready to take its form that complements this, that is this other tool to reach somebody else. And it's not my book. It's your book. It's its own book. It's its own life source. This YouTube channel, it's not my YouTube channel. It's its own entity. It's its own life force. It's its own spirit to be shared with others that is going to live beyond me. I'm just a temporary conduit. And how you guys receive it, just like how you would receive, other people or other things, that's up for you for your interpretation. But I hope it motivates you to listen and absorb the inspiration and bring out your own to the world, because we are waiting for it. We need it. And I hope that you get the courage to start sharing it if you have not already. So I say all this to say, what inspires you? Please share below your inspiration. What has been gifted to you? What are you privileged with? The only person that has ever created that this information is meant for you to share with the world. We are ready for it. We need it. We deserve it. And so please go out there today, share your inspiration. Go out there also, give somebody a huge smile, give them a compliment, and absolutely watch how they glow up. I'm serious. Just watch the wonder of seeing somebody else and sharing something kind. It's a beautiful thing. So thank you so much. Have a wonderful day today. Bye.